Nigerians, and welcome to another beautiful edition of Editors Forum. Of course, as we all know, Editors Forum is a program where we get to bring in public affairs analysts, editors, journalists to sit right here on this table and have direct conversations on key issues going on in the country. My name is Nandwagi Mazak, and once again, welcome to the program. So quickly before I introduce the guest I have with me here in the studio, we'll just quickly take a look at this report, and with that, I introduce my guest, and then the conversation begins. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the studio. So I have with me here, I have Mr. Lucia Benario, who is the editor of an Express News, and I have Mr. Shomole Numa, who is the Assistant General Secretary, Guild of Public Affairs Analysts, Ichiban. Thank you so much for being with me here in the studio.
My pleasure.
Right,
thank you.
Thank you so much. All right,
Thank you.
So we've seen in the report that was being played. And before then, on October 1st, in the president's speech, he had said that some economic stabilization bills will be transmitted to the National Assembly. And then we saw that on the 3rd of October, a tax reform bill was sent to the National Assembly for consideration. I'm sure we all heard about it. First off, how do we react to this bill? I mean, this is a step the president is taking to, prove to Nigerians that he has us at heart, and he's making steps to make things better. Seems like Mr. Rio is still not satisfied with it.
Yes, I'm not indeed. The reason I am not satisfied is because of the fact that the context of leadership in Nigeria is for now is not doing the needs of the people. I remember when the national anthem wanted to be given a legal backing, I saw the way it was taken straight away to National Assembly, and then we saw the way approval was given immediately. Then Nigerians are saying, what exactly is wrong with our electoral reform? Nobody will talk about that. What exactly is wrong in the National Assembly, in the way they swiftly, talk about this joint tax board, the tax tribunal, and the rest of them? Why are they not attend to very important issues? That's that this government is fond of not wanting to, take the clamor of the people into consideration. There are many pressing issues that we must talk about if we want anything to be sustained and sustainable in this country. Now, back to that tax we're talking about. The present minister of Federal Capital, Wike, Wike, has taken federal government to court, regarding this tax, National Revenue, FRS has been taken to court. One of the determinants the former governor took them to court was to ask the Supreme Court to determine whether it is right for federal government to come to each state of the federation and be getting tax from the people, and then they should enshrine in that law whether it is right under a federal system of government to see that a government at the center, would come and establish organization in the state that is supposed to be sovereign in terms of all, and then coming to enforce tax. So the reason why you see that they are talking about joint tax board was exactly what one of the things the former governor Wike, now presently the minister, are taking the federal government to court about, to establish those factors. Now, this joint tax board, I'm suspecting that they wanted it to be that there will be a joint tax between the local government and then the state government and then the federal government. That is what I'm thinking they are trying to do. But by and large, we don't need all those things now. This government is always about how to, take from the people and then not how to give the people.
So you don't see this tax reform bill as something to benefit the masses, the people.
What are they using the tax in history of Nigeria? What have they done with Nigerian tax? Let them tell us. According to Olisa Bakuba, the former NBA president, he said Nigeria has never done anything for him right from when he was growing up. In the other side of the world, in other climes, we have water. These are ancillary services provided for the people. We have universities. We have enough fund in the way they are done it now. That after everything, when you get to school, you bring the money back. You know, all those things are things we should expect government to be doing, giving palliative, providing infrastructure. Me and you, we know we are in Lagos. Tell us what is electricity sustainable right from 1999 that this democracy has started. Tell us nothing. So the tax is something that we must do things, you know, to reflect that the Nigerian people are paying tax and there's a thing, a development to show for it. But in the case we don't have that one, you can be rest assured what they are doing is on their own.
Okay, let's have Mr. Inuma into this, but also in line with what you're just complaining about, this bill covers the fact that the Tax Administration Bill 6 to provide a clear and concise legal structure for managing taxes in Nigeria to reduce dispute and enhance efficiency. And then it also aims to establish a more comprehensive fiscal framework for tax regulations. So don't you see this bill being, you know, a solution to the fact that people are paying taxes, but they are in a way not benefiting from
multiple tax? I think you're talking about.
I think going by what you just enumerated, it's a necessity that we have regulatory frameworks well defined, what the federal government gets, where they get from. You know, you don't go to states and begin to encroach on what is due to them. So if the essence of all this reform is to address all that, there's nothing wrong about that. So however, I also believe that we have so many individuals not paying tax at all. You know, we have how do you define a situation where an individual who hawks sachet water, for instance, is made to pay for using that space in the sun? The guy who is hawking by the railway lines, you know, those second-hand clothes, belts and all that, is mandated to pay. But the guy who has enough shopping malls, private jets and all that, uncountable houses, they aren't paying anything. You understand? So if this reform is out to address all this, it's okay. But if it is all about getting more from the already impoverished citizens, then I will ask and really admonish the government to think twice, because it won't go well at the end of the day. There is a limit to what people, the downtrodden, what economically deprived, there is a limit to what they can take. I saw as Mr. Ayo rightly put it, he was concerned at the level of pays. You know, they give to some considerations and bills from the president. But when it comes to issues that border on welfare of people, how they foot drag, and it could take years. So I sincerely think, going forward, as the president keeps reforming the tax and tax regulations and all that, that he gets all the surplus to alleviate suffering of the masses.
In addition to what Shamole just said, I would like that the law should include, you know, an enactment that will build those managing that board, where anything is found that they are inculpable, or enrich themselves or through corrupt means, the law should also provide instant judgment. That is, they should be taken to a tribunal, and then the determinant of that judgment should not be within 5 days. So that there are many laws in this country that is very weak in that aspect. It will be foot dragging. We have seen a DG of Nimasa who was tried for like 10 years and not came out from it. We have seen cases. I see no cases that is still in Supreme Court today. That is about 20. So the law should provide time frame for adjudication of that law within 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So whoever is coming to take up that case should know that he's going to take up a task of a time frame of 3 weeks. Judgment given, execution implemented. Yes.
Okay. So what I was actually trying to say was that in the bill that the president had actually submitted, it also proposed the creation of a tax tribunal and a tax ombudsman to address tax-related matters. So I think it's also in line with what you said.
It is not. It is not. What I'm saying specifically, it gives a provision for creation of tribunal. It does not an ombudsman. An ombudsman is the person who administers on the tribunal, who adjudicates the law according to how the law is being stipulated after being enshrined by the Senate and the rest of the National Assembly members, and then subsequently the President enact. But what we are saying, what I'm saying, and I'm advocating for, is that the Senate and the National Assembly as a whole should ensure that whatever it is that is done between those who is managing the tax administration and the individual who is involved, judgment should not go beyond 2-3 weeks.
Okay.
It should be embedded in the law.
All right. So still on the bill, it also intended to repeal the Federal Inland Revenue Service Act and create the Nigeria Revenue Service. I mean, do we think that this would actually?
I don't think the name changing of the
will change anything.
I don't think that is really important to me. It's a personal opinion anyway. We are all witnesses to all this. What do you call it? The name change of Nigerian Prison Service to Nigerian Correctional Service, and you, of course, recently you saw all the controversy surrounding the same that agency and all that. So it isn't just the name; it is the will, to want to deliver. See, most institutions, agencies in this country, they are not people-oriented. That is the major problem. They are not service-oriented. So, agencies, governments, institutions, they must begin to serve the people. Look, I don't tell that, look, as you keep neglecting these people, the citizens, there will be a day the bubble will burst. See, you can't just send me to an office to oversee, to preside, only for me to come out with more houses, more cars, more mansions. That isn't what Nigerians want. Look, whether tax or no tax, reform or no reform, how many public servants, how many of them have declared their their assets, and how much of their assets have been verified, and for those who erred, what punishment was meted. You understand? So we want to see actions. Like in China, we can't be praising China, going to China to ask for loans, but at the same time, those mechanisms that make China to be great, to be in that position to be borrowing up, that we don't want to see towards that. China, as my colleague said here, the highest you get in their legal and judicial process before you are either hung or shot in the head won't go beyond maybe 4 weeks. So, but here you have cases that have stalled 20 years in court, and it's like if you are not okay, go to court. knowing fully well that nothing will come out of it.
Yes.
So if you have tax reform, what about the execution? The judiciary, the confidence in the judiciary is at the lowest end.
Yes.
What do you do to that? So I want it to be people-centered, service-oriented. Then with that we can begin to...
Let me say two things here. First, regarding people's oriented, that I talked, my colleague said here. You know, being a journalist, I will just be, you know, I'll be driving and then try to see what the most of these enforcement agencies, so it's kind of like Loma, what they do. So one day I was inside the bus. We were coming from Maryland, you know, going to my location. So all of a sudden I just saw a Loma, a last mile official came out from the booth, pop, and stop. You stop. We are under arrest. I now asked. I called the guy. I said, "Why are you coming out from the bush, from another place to stop this person? Was there no way they have taught you people to correct traffic officers, road users, these commercial bus road users? Is there any way? Was there any time you have been warning him, or you have given him one or two signs of warning that this thing is done is not right? He said, leave that one. I don't want to." So I give it a thought that where is service delay? You should be able to have in other times. You see their law enforcement agent will give you first warning. They keep your car, your registration of a car. They hold it. Secondly, they will give you the third one. They hit a red card, and then they fine you. But here, they wear that uniform to see that they are looking for how to arrest. The advocacy aspect is not there. The road furniture on the part of government to build, to show road signs is not there. But they want to see. Okay, for example, say road worthiness. How many roads are worthy in this country? So these are the things we should be able to tell ourselves in service delivery. So both hands must be on deck. Those that are doing the tax administration and the tribunal should have a time frame. Okay? And then the other side, if you know you want to enact a law, let it be people's oriented. You know, so that foreign direct investments will come. Many foreign direct investment are not willing to come because of what they know and what they have been saying, that we have been hearing in the media, that they don't have justice, you know, judgment here, justice here. They only have judgment. So if you interpret that, you know better what they are trying to do. So you want a foreign direct investment, the judiciary must work in tandem with the 1999 Constitution. And the time frame for every judgment should be given, so that when you are starting a case, you know when you are ending it. So you tell me that if you offend me now, I have the right and know that my case will definitely be adjudicated in the law. But in the case of where you have go to court now, like in the case of Edo, you know, all these politicians say, okay, you have won, go to court. Many of them, they know that when they rig the election, the next day they tell you to go, because they know election is not won in the court, but they know the court will never even pronounce it too, because the provision of the law, it does, according to that former senior advocate, he said there's a lot of lacuna in our electoral system. So you don't expect the judge to give to upturn a case that does not have a provision of it in the law. So these are the things we are talking about.